At 69, I learnt something that changed everything. Living alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. But here's what nobody tells you: there's a line between peace and disappearing, and you can cross it without even noticing. I almost did. For the first year after my husband moved out, I thought I was fine. Freedom, right? No one to answer to, no schedule but my own. But slowly, quietly, things started slipping. The dishes sat longer. I stopped checking my phone. Whole days passed where I didn't speak out loud. You don't realize what's happening until you're already gone. What pulled me back wasn't dramatic. It was six small things. Six practices I either protected or let slip. They're so simple you'll wonder how they could matter. But they do. They're the difference between living alone well and slowly fading away. Get them right, and these years become the best of your life. Miss them, and you lose yourself bit by bit, day by day. Tip 1. Let go of what you don't use anymore. 6 months in, I looked around my apartment and realized I was drowning. Not in water, in things. Magazines from 2019, clothes that hadn't fit in years, kitchen gadgets I'd never touched, every surface covered, every drawer packed. I kept telling myself I'd need these things someday. That's what we do, isn't it? We hold on, just in case. But here's what I didn't understand then. When you live alone, clutter doesn't just take up space, it takes up mental space. Every time you walk past that pile of mail, your brain registers it. Every time you open a drawer and see chaos, something in you tightens. You might not notice it consciously, but it's there. A constant low-level stress running in the background. I kept every piece of mail that came through my door. Bills I'd already paid, catalogues I'd never read, insurance statements from 3 years ago. Just in case, I told myself. Just in case I need to reference something. My kitchen table disappeared under the piles. Then my counters. Then I stopped cooking because there was nowhere to prep food. My daughter came to visit, walked in and just stood there. "Mum," she said quietly, "you can't live like this." I looked around, really looked, for the first time in months, and I saw it. The apartment wasn't just messy, it was suffocating me. We spent one afternoon going through everything. My rule was simple. If I hadn't touched it in a year, it went. No exceptions, no just in case. The first few items were hard, but then something shifted. Each bag that left my apartment felt like weight lifting off my chest. When you live alone, you're the only one who can make this choice. No one else is coming to clean up. No one else is going to force you to let go. You have to decide. The things you keep, are they serving you? Or are they just taking up space where peace could be? Start with one drawer, just one. Pull everything out. If you haven't used it in the past year, let it go. You'll be amazed how much lighter you feel. Not just in your home, in your mind. Tip 2. Find your one reason to leave the house. I went 9 days once without stepping outside. Didn't even notice until I checked the mail and saw the dates on the envelopes. 9 days. It happened so gradually I couldn't pinpoint when it started. The first day, I just didn't feel like going out. Too cold, too much effort. The groceries could wait. The second day, same thing. By day 5, I'd convinced myself I was being efficient. Why go out when everything I needed was right here? By day 9, the thought of leaving felt overwhelming, like I'd forgotten how. Here's what's dangerous about living alone. Leaving the house becomes optional. There's no one waiting for you, no one expecting you, no one to say, "Hey, let's go for a walk." And when something's optional, it's easy to skip. Once becomes twice. Twice becomes always. A friend of mine realized this at 68. She woke up one morning and couldn't remember the last time she'd been outside. She checked her calendar. It had been over a week. She'd been wearing the same sweatshirt for 5 days. Her groceries came through delivery, her bills paid online. She had no reason to leave. And that's when it hit her. That was the problem. You need a reason. Not just any reason, a real one. Something that pulls you out the door even when you don't feel like going. For me, it's the library. Every Thursday morning, I walk 6 blocks to return a book and pick up a new one. Could I read on a tablet? Sure, but that's not the point. The point is, Thursday morning, I have somewhere to be. Someone at that library sees my face. If I stopped showing up, they'd notice. For my friend, it became the coffee shop 2 blocks away. Every Monday and Friday, same time, same table by the window. She doesn't always talk to anyone. Sometimes she just sits with her coffee and watches people. But she's out. She's moving. She's part of the world. You don't need 3 trips a week. You don't need a packed social calendar. You need one anchor. One non negotiable reason that gets you out that door. It could be picking up your mail from the lobby every morning. It could be walking to the corner store for one item instead of ordering everything online. The destination doesn't matter as much as the commitment. Make it something you can't easily skip. Something with a time or a place or a person attached to it. Because the day you stop having reasons to leave is the day your world starts to shrink. Tip 3. Keep your mind busy, not your schedule. I thought routine meant structure. Wake up at 7, breakfast at 8, lunch at noon. I had it all planned out. And I stuck to it. Every single day, same schedule. But something was wrong. I felt empty, like I was going through motions without actually being present. That's when I realized I'd confused a full schedule with an engaged mind. They're not the same thing. Your mind needs work, real work, not just activities to fill time. When you live alone, there's no built in mental stimulation. No one's asking you questions. No one's challenging your thinking. No one's bringing new ideas to the dinner table. If you're not careful, your brain starts to coast. And when your brain coasts, you start to fade. It's easy to fall into patterns. You watch the same shows, eat the same meals, walk the same route. Nothing challenges you. Nothing requires your full attention. And without realizing it, your mind starts drifting. You might watch a program and realize halfway through you've already seen it, or forget what you did yesterday because every day feels the same. Here's the difference. A busy schedule means your time is filled. An engaged mind means your brain is working. You can have a completely empty schedule and still keep your mind sharp, or you can fill every hour and still drift away. What worked for me was small challenges. I keep a puzzle on my coffee table, not a simple one, 1,000 pieces. Some days I only add 2 or 3 pieces, but I'm looking, I'm thinking. My brain is actively working on something. I also started cooking one new recipe every week, not from memory, from a recipe I've never tried. Following instructions, measuring ingredients, adjusting flavors, it forces me to pay attention, to think. You don't need hobbies. You don't need classes or groups or structured activities. You just need things that make your brain work. A book that's actually challenging. A crossword puzzle. Learning 3. Words in another language. Reorganizing a closet in a completely different way. The key is novelty and effort. Your brain stays sharp when it's solving problems, when it's learning, when it's figuring things out. Give it that, even in small doses, because mental engagement isn't about staying busy, it's about staying present. Tip 4. Know when you need people and when you don't. Took me 2 years to understand this, Not all contact is equal, and living alone doesn't mean you need constant connection. It means understanding when connection matters and when solitude restores. I used to force myself to say yes to everything. Someone invited me to lunch? Yes. A neighbour wanted to chat in the hallway? Yes. The community centre had an event? Yes. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Stay social, stay connected, avoid isolation at all costs. But here's what happened. I started dreading these interactions. They didn't energize me, they drained me. I'd come home exhausted, not refreshed. And then I'd avoid calling my daughter because I'd already talked to too many people that day. My neighbour understood this better than I did. At 66, she realised she'd been forcing herself to attend book club meetings she hated. She didn't like the books they chose. The conversations felt surface level, but she kept going because she thought she had to. Meanwhile, she kept dodging calls from her sister, real calls, conversations that mattered, because they felt heavy, obligating. One day, her sister called and she didn't answer, again, and she realised something. She was spending energy on connections that didn't feed her while avoiding the one connection that did. She was doing it backwards. So she quit the book club, started answering her sister's calls, and something shifted. She wasn't more isolated, she was more connected, because quality matters more than quantity. Here's what you need to know. Loneliness isn't about being alone, it's about lacking meaningful connection. You can be surrounded by people and feel completely alone, or you can have one real conversation a week and feel deeply connected. Learn to check in with yourself. Ask the question, am I lonely right now, or am I just alone? There's a difference. Alone can feel peaceful, restorative, like coming home to yourself. Lonely feels hollow, like something's missing. When you feel lonely, reach out. Call someone who matters, not just anyone, someone who fills you up instead of draining you. When you feel alone in the good way, protect that. Don't feel guilty for wanting space. Don't force yourself to fill it with meaningless interaction. For me, it's one phone call with my daughter every Sunday. 30 minutes. We talk about real things. That's my anchor. Some weeks I want more contact. Some weeks that's enough. I've learned to trust the difference. You don't need a crowd. You need one person who knows you're alive, who would notice if you disappeared. Keep that connection strong. Everything else is optional. Tip 5. Protect your ability to do small things. I didn't notice my grip getting weaker until I couldn't open my pill bottle. I've been struggling with jar lids for weeks. Thought maybe the manufacturers were making them tighter. Didn't occur to me that I was getting weaker. Then one morning I needed my medication. Pushed down on the cap, twisted. Nothing. Tried again, harder. Still nothing. I had to use a rubber grip, then a towel for leverage. Finally got it open. Sat there breathing hard from the effort. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about tight lids. This was about me. Independence isn't about dramatic things. It's not about driving across the country or climbing mountains. It's about small, daily tasks. Opening jars, carrying groceries, getting up from a chair without using your arms. These seem trivial until you lose them. I'd always been reasonably strong. Never worked out, but never had to. Life kept me active enough. Then things slowed down. I started sitting more, moving less. Didn't think much of it, until one day I dropped my keys behind the couch, got down on the floor to reach them, retrieved the keys, then realised I couldn't get back up. Not without grabbing onto something, not without rolling to my knees first. Took me 3 tries. I was exhausted and embarrassed and scared. Because here's what happens. These abilities don't disappear overnight. They erode gradually. So gradually you adjust without realising it. You start avoiding tasks that are getting harder. You find workarounds. You tell yourself it's no big deal, until one day you can't do something essential, and by then you've lost more than you realized. When you live alone, these small abilities matter more. There's no one to open that jar for you, no one to carry the heavy bag, no one to help you up. Losing these abilities doesn't just mean inconvenience, it means dependence. It means asking for help. It means losing control of your own life. So you have to protect them, not through fear, through awareness. Test yourself occasionally. Can you still get up from the floor without using your hands? Can you carry a full bag of groceries from the car? Can you reach the top shelf without a stool? These aren't challenges, they're checkpoints, ways to notice what's changing before it becomes a problem. For me, it's simple things. I carry my groceries in from the car instead of making 2 trips with lighter bags. I practice standing up from a chair without using the armrests. I open jars myself instead of immediately reaching for tools. Not because I'm trying to prove anything, because I'm trying to maintain something, the ability to take care of myself, the ability to live independently. These small tasks are what independence actually looks like. Protect them while you still can. Tip 6. Notice the first signs you're slipping. The shift happened so slowly, I almost missed it completely. There wasn't one big moment, just a series of small things that didn't seem significant at the time. First, the mail sat on the counter for 2 days instead of one, then 3. Then I stopped noticing how long it had been there. I skipped my shower one morning because I didn't feel like it. No big deal. Did it again the next day. By the end of the week, I'd showered twice instead of daily. I lost track of what day it was. Thought it was Wednesday when it was Friday. Happened more than once. These weren't crises, they were whispers, early signs that something was shifting, that I was starting to drift. A friend caught herself at 69. She'd been wearing the same sweater for 5 days, hadn't changed it, hadn't noticed. It was her daughter's voice in her head that woke her up. Mum, when's the last time you changed clothes? She looked down, realized she couldn't remember. That's when she knew she was slipping. The scary thing about living alone is there's no external accountability. No one sees you every day. No one knows if you showered or changed clothes or ate a real meal. No one notices the mail piling up or the dishes in the sink or the fact that you've stopped opening the curtains. You can slide into decline without anyone knowing, including yourself. So you have to build your own system, your own way of noticing. I started doing weekly check-ins with myself. Every Sunday evening, I ask 3 questions. Did I leave the house this week? Did I have at least one real conversation? Do I know what day it is? Those 3 questions tell me everything I need to know. If I didn't leave the house, I'm isolating. If I didn't talk to anyone, I'm disconnecting. If I don't know what day it is, I'm losing structure. The questions aren't meant to make me feel bad, they're meant to make me aware. Because awareness is the first step to change. You can't fix what you don't. Notice. Some weeks, all 3 answers are yes. I feel grounded, connected, present. Some weeks, 1 or 2 answers are no. That's my signal. Time to reach out. Time to make a plan to get outside. Time to rebuild structure. The point isn't perfection. The point is paying attention, noticing the patterns before they become problems, catching yourself before you disappear. Because living alone means you're the only one watching. You're the only one who can see the signs. And if you're not looking, no one else will be either. So look, every week, every day if you need to. Ask yourself the hard questions. Answer them honestly. And when the answers tell you something's off, listen. That's how you stay found. By refusing to look away when you start to drift. 4 years in, I can tell you this. Living alone at 69 is the best decision I never planned to make, but it only works because of these 6 things. Let go of what you don't use. Find your reason to leave the house. Keep your mind engaged. Know when you need people. Protect your small abilities. Notice when you're slipping. These aren't complicated strategies, they're just small practices, things you either protect or let slip, but they make all the difference. I wake up every morning in my quiet apartment, make my coffee, sit by the window, and I feel peace. Real peace. Not because I'm avoiding life, because I'm living it intentionally, on my terms. You can have that too. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just start with one thing. Pick one of these 6. Start today. Pay attention. Make the small choice that keeps you present, that keeps you capable, that keeps you connected. Living alone doesn't have to mean fading away. It can mean finding yourself. It can mean peace. It can mean freedom. Real freedom. The kind that comes from knowing you're still here, still capable, still choosing your own life every single day. Start today. Pick one thing, just one, and protect it.